You went up to a teacher when you were 13 and you said, I think I'm dyslexic, and she said, don't be ridiculous, go away. And from that point on, well, you just carried on. You developed your own coping strategies, and you went to uni and you did the whole thing. We were just talking about being employed these days and how people use barometric testing, which is, I think, personality testing or something.
Yeah.
Is that right? So you went to a well-known retail outlet, and they said, oh, Ross is great for management.
Yeah.
But you had a lot of forms to fill in and you had to do this barometric testing, which meant that you didn't get the job.
Yeah, I mean, I worked for this organisation for about 3-4 years as a student, and by their sense performed very well, and they were very keen. And I was actually headhunted by them, and they says, can you make this interview? And I said, I was in London, so I said, actually I can't, I'm really sorry. And they says, no problem, we will fly you up to Edinburgh for the meeting. So they flew me up, put me in a hotel, and I was relatively confident because I'd done the job for years, really. And they had all these testing, and all these forms to fill in, and I just couldn't perform. It wasn't the job. In an interview, I think I would have been fine, but these tests just completely failed.
So would you say that companies like that need to change their approach because of people with dyslexia?
Absolutely. I mean, you've got to remember that dyslexic people, achieve so much, but they would fall in exactly the same places where I would. Richard Branson, Alan Sugar, what have they achieved? Massive amounts. But they would fail on the same testing that I failed on.
They're dyslexic too, are they?
It's just so was Winston Churchill, yeah. And Albert Einstein and Roosevelt. So people achieve highly with dyslexia. You've just got to adjust around it.
When were you diagnosed as finally having it?
22, yeah, after university.
But what was the catalyst for you being diagnosed? You just wanted to know, did you?
I wanted the answers. I mean, it was particularly the last set of exams. We were sitting in the library, and my friends, my colleagues at university were stressing, and they couldn't do the stuff and couldn't do the engineering equations, and I was showing them, and in the end I scored much lower, and they were onto their third sheet in the exam, and I was onto my first, and I just finished and went, this doesn't make sense. These guys have got a better grade than me, and I helped them through university,
So what did it mean to you when you got diagnosed? What changed? If anything. A
complete understanding of how I operate, why I operate, and a better understanding of what my strengths is. Analytically wise, I'm pretty good. I remember conversations. I can see things before they happen. These are all generally good qualities that a dyslexic person has.
So you've got this confidence, and you've also probably got these entrepreneurial skills. You're in the same bracket as the rest of these people, and we know this because you've just been given a whole wedge of money. Is that right?
Yeah, I think. Well, one of the things that I found when I was diagnosed with dyslexia is I got software to install on a computer that would read a website out aloud, and that was absolutely amazing. It changed my life. I've only read 5 books in my lifetime, and all of them have been because the school forced me to over the 6 weeks holidays, and then it changed my life because I could absorb information and read it in the way everybody else could. But then I went back to work and I was back to square one because this software was on a computer that was in my house, and I wasn't sitting in front of my house. And I took a step back at that point and went, this is completely archaic. The fact that they expect me to be dyslexic, to only sit in front of the one machine. And that's where we created the software Recite Me.
And financial backing has come in the tune to hundreds of thousands, is that right?
Yeah, we've raised roughly about $500,000 so far.
Crikey.
And we're the only company in the world that makes software that will allow any machine in the world, that's including Androids, iPads, computers, to access any website in the world in an accessible way for users, including dyslexia.
How does it differentiate between the bar at the top and the text and that's clever.
Yeah, I mean, the key is that it doesn't have to be installed, you see. So if I was walking along in the street and I hadn't installed the software, I'd just go through our systems. It's like an intermediary system, and access the BBC's website, and then the BBC website would be read out to me.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so it's like a talking book, but far more complicated.
It's a portable talking book that can work on any machine in the world.
Cool. So who's bought it so far?
big names, Northumbria University, the Metropolitan Police. We're doing a lot of good work with Reuters, the news agency, as well.
Okay, so let's use Gateshead Council as an example. If I got their website up,
Yes.
They use your software,
Yes.
and you have the option to listen to
Yes.
that website.
Yeah.
So if you hover over the options on the home page with your cursor, it reads them to you. And the girls tried this out in the office on Friday. This is what they got.
Image, Gateshead Council. Libraries. Join the library. Leisure facilities. Get active, be healthy at our leisure facilities. Bulky waste. Arrange for a bulky household waste collection.
And it can tell you the difference between an image, some text, and a link, I think, like this.
Link, local attractions. Link, events and activities. Link, Saltwell Park.
So the programme's bought by a website. Bob's your uncle.
Yeah.
Any website in the world.
Any person now that goes to that website from any device can choose to listen to that website now.
So are companies keen to make their sites more accessible?
Absolutely. I mean, there's the right factor that there's legislation and they should be making these adjustments to people with dyslexia, visual impairments, English as a second language. But also there's the ROI. I mean, 6% of users decide to read Gateshead's website listen to Gateshead website as opposed to read it. And that's quite powerful.
And it's now in Australia, I think.
Yeah. The latest council's Hume City Council.
And the ultimate aim for you?
I basically I want people not to experience the hardship that I had to. And because technology's moved along, people shouldn't have to experience having to force themselves to read something.
Did it affect your confidence? You are quite confident, but did it affect your confidence?
Absolutely, at times. It can't not affect your confidence if you're standing there and you're thinking, I can't read, and if I read this out aloud, I'm going to embarrass myself.
If you could give away your dyslexia, would you?
No, because it's got too many advantages.
British Dyslexia Association is bdadyslexia.org, and the Recite Me website, recite.me, I think. Ross, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
the time.